Hello, Dashley everyone. Okay, welcome back to my video. Before I begin, this is an English version of my video. For the Mandarin speakers, you can actually refer to the Chinese version of my video, okay? Dashley, 大家好。这个视频呢是用英文录制的。如果你是擅长说中文的话呢，你可以去查看中文版的视频，好吗？谢谢。Okay, so the topic that I would like to share with all of you today is called selfless compassion. So when we talk about compassion, there are two kinds of compassion. One of which is a directed compassion, another one is the undirected compassion. So when we talk about the directed compassion, it is actually based on concept that is driven by our sensory and that based on judgment. Yeah, for example, when you see or when you hear that somebody is in a vulnerable situation, and then you extend kindness to them. Yeah, so that a compassion that goes through a thought process through what you see or what you hear, then that is a directed compassion. There is an angle. Yeah, then you decide that you want to help the person. So this is a directed compassion. Then the other one, the undirected compassion, it is not based on any judgment. It is not derived from any concept, and it is altruistic, meaning that it is not depending on what you see of someone being in a vulnerable situation or hear that someone is in a vulnerable situation, but then you treat them all as equal, whether or not if it's somebody you like or you dislike, somebody whom is your friend or your enemy, you give them the same kindness without judging them. So a kindness that is extended, yeah, without any judgment, so then that will fall under the category of the undirected compassion, which is the great genuine compassion. All right, and it is with this great genuine compassion that is needed to be present before one can attain the wisdom realizing emptiness. All right, so when I talk about the wisdom realizing emptiness, I am not talking about the knowledge understanding emptiness. When we talk about the knowledge understanding emptiness, it could be from a book that you read or a lecture that you hear. Then it goes through your thought process, and then it becomes like a knowledge. You are basically living someone else's experience. It is through someone else's experience that gives you the understanding of what emptiness is. Yeah, but a wisdom realizing emptiness is an experience that one goes through, him or herself. It's your personal experience. It is not through the words of others. The understanding of emptiness does not derive from other people's experience, but is through your personal experience. Yeah? So when it's a wisdom realizing emptiness, then that is one's own personal experience. Meaning that when we talk about wisdom, we talk about somebody whom has been through life, right? My 80-year-old grandmother teaches me a lot of life lessons. Why? Because it is through her experience. She is a lady whom has a lot of wisdom because she has been through a lot in life, and therefore she's able to share her experience with me. Now, she's the one that is bearing the wisdom. However, me listening to her, I am just gaining knowledge and insights of, through her experience. Yeah. So then if one wished to attain this wisdom realizing emptiness, this, at least the notion of this great compassion, this great genuine compassion has to be present first in order to be able to attain this wisdom realizing emptiness, then of which ultimately with the wisdom realizing emptiness, then that giving rise to the ultimate bodhicitta. So now that you have understood the two different types of compassion, then how do we shift? How do we shift from this directed compassion to this undirected compassion? Yeah. So then Of course, then is through practice, having first the understanding of what a great genuine compassion is. So with the right view, the right thought, and then you put out the right action. See, when somebody does something, when somebody does an action a lot of time, repeatedly, always, then it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, then it becomes like a natural thing that you just do. Yeah, for example, if I put it a bad habit, yeah, so if somebody always like to bite the nail, yeah, and you bite and you bite and you bite all the time, then the more you do it, the more it's becoming a habit, and the next time, unknowingly, without having to forcefully, putting an effort to it, while you're watching TV, you will just, and you watch TV, or when you're thinking, you just chew your nail, yeah? So it becomes a habit. From a habit, then it becomes something that you do naturally without even thinking or putting a particular effort for that. So likewise, how do we cultivate this great, genuine compassion? So now that we have understand that, then we have to put it into practice. Of course, when we first start, then it would have to be this forceful effort, which means that we understand it, and then we have to purposely, okay, with an effort to put it in place. And then the more we do it, then it becomes a habit. And then when it becomes a habit, when you cultivate this habit, a good habit, then it becomes a natural instinct in you that you will just naturally do it. Then that acts as a basis of, this cultivation of this great, genuine compassion. Yeah. If you look about, if you think about it this way, us human being, yeah, generally we, when we say that, oh, I am going to avoid doing this thing, or I'm not going to say anything that is bad, that is often because of your fear of committing something that is negative, hence then, having the bad karma upon yourself. Yeah, when you have this notion of thoughts, then that is often coming from the motive of being selfish, because you are placing yourself, it is for the benefit of yourself, therefore you are not doing something bad. Yeah, it is not for the benefit of others, but it is the benefit of yourself. Oh, I cannot say anything bad because then, it's very bad, it's non-virtuous, and, things like that. Oh, I shouldn't, because, then I will gain this bad karma, this bad karma, so I shouldn't do that. Oh, I shouldn't be nasty to this person, because, then I will have something negative upon me. Or vice versa, I'm gonna do this thing and help to help this person, because then I can gain some good merits. Yeah, so when you have that kind of thoughts, then there will definitely be a slight tinge percentage of selfish motive, because you are placing yourself first. The thought of doing or not doing an act is based upon yourself. Yeah, of benefiting and protecting yourself. However, if it's from the spirit of bodhicitta, yeah, from the angle of bodhicitta, then whether or not you're going to do something, you place someone else's interest ahead of you. I'm not going to do this because it's going to harm that person. I'm not going to say this because it is going to hurt that person's feeling. I'm going to do this because this person will be happy. Yeah? You see the difference between that? Not doing something or doing something to protect yourself, and not doing something or doing something for the benefit of others, wanting others to be happy. Now then, that is the this great genuine compassion that we talk about. So you see, for example, a mother. When a mother gives birth to a child, okay, so she has to take care of the child since a baby and raise the child all the way as the child grows up. So throughout this time, the mother, has to take care of the child, bathe the child, clean the child, cook for the child. When a child is sick, the mother must take care of the child. When a child vomits, the mother must clean up the vomit. When the child poop on him or herself, the mother must clean up the poop. And when the child pees or urine, on herself, then the mother must clean the urine. Now you see, when the mother is doing all of that, she is not thinking whether if she should do it or she should not do it. She just does it. And when she does it, she's not thinking whether, what she can gain out of it. She just does it so selflessly. And at the end of the day, after all this hardship, there is only one wish in her heart. That is that, for the child to grow up, to be healthy, and to lead a happy life. That is the only thing that the mother wishes, that a mother wishes for after doing all these deeds for the child. Yeah. So if in that context, then we can put it into comparison with the spirit of bodhicitta. That is that, we act out, a kindness is being extended, out to the other person, not thinking about our personal benefit, but for the benefit of others, for the welfare of others, for benefiting others, and an act that is so selfless that we do not even consider ourselves, but just purely for the happiness of others and and benefiting others and the welfare of others. So then that is the spirit of bodhicitta. And so if I were to put it in this comparison, then you will be able to see, the difference between a directed compassion and a compassion that is genuine, a great genuine compassion, that bears the spirit of bodhicitta. Yeah? So, having said all that, I just want to, bring into awareness that for us to be able to take rebirth as a human being, we are very, very, very fortunate. Yeah, we lead our life through intellect. Yeah, our intellect tells us, we are able to decide what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad for us. Unlike animals, for example, a dog, they don't have that intellect to determine whether what's right and what's wrong. They will eat their own poop. They will smell another dog's pee. Yeah? They will smell another dog's poop. A human being, we will not do that. The animals, example like a dog, they live their life, their life is being led by their instinct. Yeah? When they hear a dog bark, they just bark. But for what they are barking, we don't know. They just bark. Yeah? They see a poop on the floor, they just smell. They don't process and think, oh, that's a poop. There's no concept of that is a poop, is something dirty that I shouldn't smell. There is no such thing as that. They just do it. That's their instinct. Their life is being led by their instinct. However, as a human being, our life is being led by our intellect. Yeah? As a human being, we are very powerful. Yeah? When we put it into good use, when we put our skill into good use, we are even able to create a rocket that takes, you from Earth to space. Yeah? And when we put that into a bad use, for example, like we see the coronavirus, the pandemic that is going on around the world right now. A human being is able to create a virus, and that can kill thousands and thousands of people. So you see, with this intellect, we are able to do either good or bad. We are armed with skills and intellect, in which then after that, it is a decision that we can take that determines whether if our action is good or if our action is bad. Yeah. So having this intellect, then, we should really put this intellect into good use. Then otherwise, that makes us no different from animals. This might be quite a strong notion for some of you to accept. Yeah? But then if I put it into perspective this way, you see, as human beings, we are driven by sensory pleasure. Whatever we see that we like, and then we form an attachment towards that. The things that we smell, the things that we hear, the things that we taste, we are often after this chase of sensory pleasure, things that pleases our senses. Yeah, isn't it? So, and that's why we start to form this attachment to that, and that's the reason, why we are all suffering. Yeah. And if I were to put that into comparison with an animal, when a dog sees a bone that which is very pleasing to him, the dog wants to eat it. And when a dog, sees a cat, the dog chases after that, isn't it? Likewise, human being. When we see something that is, very yummy, oh, we want to eat that. And when, for example, a man sees a beautiful girl, ooh, wheat, and the man will chase after that girl, right? So then what's the difference? What's the difference? Isn't it? If we don't put our intellect into good use, then we are no different from animal. We are just being led by our sense, by these sensory pleasures. Likewise for the animal. They are led by their instinct and this sensory pleasure, right? Ooh, they can smell something good and they want to eat it, Therefore, we have to put this, our intellect into good use. Yeah. So having said all this, when we go about doing good deeds, like for example, liberating, or setting the fish free, or the turtle, setting the birds, free, all these liberation deeds, all these liberating deeds of setting free of the animals, etc., etc. Very often, I think in general, human being, yeah. How would I say that? I think in this time, this age, the word merit has been overplayed. Yeah, merit. The word merit has been overplayed. Everything that one does is often intertwined, related to merit. Oh, I'm going to set free all these fishes because of the merit behind it. Today is a very auspicious day, I'm going to practice more, I'm going to chant more because then my merit will be multiplied by 100,000 times, etc., etc. I'm not saying that. I'm not refuting the fact that, things like, that merit does, exist, that there is this thing about merit. But I think nowadays it has been overplayed, and then it becomes a driving force behind people doing certain things. Then somehow or another, when you are not mindful about that, or if you do not have a right view about that, then this merit, instead of driving you towards doing something good out of pureness of the heart, it kind of like, triggers and bring out this selfishness. Not intentionally, but unknowingly, yeah. Let me give you an example. For example, yeah, when we set, when you set free all the fishes, all the birds, the yaks, the animals, and things like that, you think about, with this virtuous act, I will accumulate, good merits. Of course, after which, then you will dedicate to these merits to all sentient beings, right? So my question is, how much thought goes behind this dedication of merit? Are you dedicating this merit for the sake of dedicating it because it is a standard procedure that when we do something good, we should dedicate this merit to all sentient beings? Are you doing it because it's a standard procedure, or while you are carrying out the act, that you are already bearing them in your thoughts? Do you see the difference? Of course, when you are setting the fish or the turtle free, you are thinking that, to give them a second chance in life and to set them free, right? But then, however, at the same time, you will also be bearing the thought that, by doing this is a virtuous act, and in which then you will gain good merit. You see, the thought process, like I always mentioned about in my previous video, is that the mind is multifaceted. The thoughts is multi-layered. Yeah. So then when we talk about, setting free all these animals, first you said, I'm going to set all these animals free. It's a very good deed. Yeah. Then it is a very virtuous act, and then there are, good merits to be earned. the first in line, the thought is that there are good merits to be earned. First you earn, then you dedicate and you share, and you know dedicate these merits to us, all these other sentient beings. Now this is what I mean by a directed compassion. I'm not denying the fact that you have carried out a good deed. Yeah, you had. But the chain of thought is what makes a difference between a directed compassion and an undirected compassion. Just like, for example, the example of the mother that I was telling you guys. The mother does all of that without thinking anything for herself, but after doing everything, she just only wished the best for her child. Yeah. So likewise, let's say that if it's from the angle of an undirected compassion, a genuine compassion, a great genuine compassion, if we want to put it into practice, then we should change our thought process when we go about, doing all these good deeds. Instead of going in thinking that you're going to set all these fishes and all these turtles and all the birds free, in which after that you will gain merits, then from a standard procedure, then you dedicate the merits out to all sentient beings. Instead of that, we can tweak our mindset by thinking about how many beings out there do not have the chance like you do to carry out this, virtuous act, For example, the people whom are lying in bed sick, in a hospital bed, people whom cannot afford doing this kind of deeds, the dogs, the cats, the animals, there are plenty of other sentient beings that do not have, the good fortune to carry out these good deeds. So therefore, on their behalf, you are just using yourself, this body, to carry out these good deeds on their behalf. Yeah, on their behalf. Carrying out these good deeds on their behalf. And then, after which, then, we have this dedication of merit. Yeah. Then, of course, when you dedicate this merit, because you are only like a third person, a middle person to carry out these deeds. These are the people, these are the sentient beings that you are, in the mind that you envision it, you envision it to be that way, that you are on the behalf of all these sentient beings carrying out these good deeds to liberate all these animals. So then, of course, when it comes to the dedication, isn't it naturally that when you are doing a dedication, you are also dedicating the merits on the behalf of all these sentient beings, right? It's this sentient beings that is dedicating the merit. And you yourself is only acting as a middle person, like a messenger, like a postman. When a postman has a letter, the postman delivers the letter and then the job is done. From one place, the postman takes something and delivers something, the postman gets nothing, right? So it is the same idea. Yeah, how to basically change the angle of compassion while carrying out a virtuous act. Yeah, so with the power of thoughts, the power of our thoughts, we can change the angle of compassion, of how our kindness, our virtuous act is being carried out just by the power of thoughts. Yeah. So instead of the usual way of I'm going to do all these good deeds, I'm going to accumulate all these good deeds, then you dedicate all the the merits to all sentient beings. Instead of that, that's what this topic is about, a selfless compassion, that you are not even in existence in the sense of of gain. Yeah. You are just acting as a middle person carrying out this act. For the many thousands and millions of sentient beings that do not have this good fortune to, carry out this virtuous act of liberating the animals, I dedicate this body, this self, to, on their behalf, liberate these animals. And upon dedication, I'm dedicating on their behalf. So they are the one that's doing the dedication. After which then, you are not keeping the slightest bit for yourself. Then that is what I meant by a selfless compassion. Yeah. Why do I say that? Because in order to generate, this bodhicitta, the mindset and the chain of thoughts is very, very important. Like I mentioned earlier, I think that, merits, the word merit has been overplayed. It has been overplayed, and because of this concept of merit, a lot of people form an attachment towards this merit, chasing after this merit, and then you lose the essence of what merit is. So, like a mother, do it, don't think about it. Just do it, and at the end of the day after doing it, just still only wishing the best and the welfare of others, the best of interest of others. If you think about it, Lord Buddha, his teaching, when he teaches his monk to go beg alms, when they go about begging alms, he doesn't talk about, oh, you should go beg alms because it's, the other people will get a chance to earn good merit, and then you're giving them a chance to earn good merit. The word merit is not mentioned in there. The purpose of begging alms is for others to get a chance to carry out an act of generosity, to think for others, to include others into our life, to be able, to care for others, extend kindness, to instill kindness in other people. Not a word of, letting them gain merit, and all this thing about merit is not stated in there. It is to beg alms is to give, the person that is giving alms to learn to give, to learn to practice kindness and compassion, and that for the monk to learn to cut through their ego and their pride, So this way then, then they will be detached from the concept of self, right? They don't mention about, anything about merits. So I think we should also adapt, we should also adopt this mindset and to downplay, to bring it down, to downplay the concept of merit and just simply doing things for the well-being of others, for the welfare of others. So this way we can slowly cultivate, and that brings me back to the thing that I was talking about. When you do something all the time, then it becomes a habit, and after it becomes a habit, then it becomes a natural, way of doing things. Therefore, if you continue practice doing this, then, it becomes a habit, and the next thing you know, you are carrying out all this virtuous act, not thinking about merits, but just simply doing it, and then after which, then, dedicating the merits out. So, you see, us human beings, we are all equal. We are all equal, and why do I say that? Because as a human being, we are all in a pursuit of happiness. We all want to be free from pain. And the reason why we are all suffering is because of this attachment to self. You are attached to the concept of self, therefore you are suffering. I am suffering because of this attachment to the concept of self, therefore I am suffering. You are made of bones and organs and your hands, your leg, and that's make you up into a human body. I am also made up of bones, flesh, blood, my leg, my arms, and everything, and that gives me, this physical body. And that we are so attached to this human body, we are so attached to this self that we are suffering. So that make us the same, isn't it? That put us all in one umbrella of this entity, of this self. We are all the same because we are all suffering due to our attachment to the concept of self. Therefore, we are the same. So if I can see myself in you, and you can see yourself in me, then what difference is there? What right do I have to discriminate you? And what right do you have to discriminate me if we are the same? Isn't it? Our happiness very much depends on each other. Yeah? Likewise, a human body, one entity, one human body. It is made up of hands, it is made up of legs, our head, our organs, isn't it? So for example, if I have some pain in my hand over here, in my right hand, yeah? Can you say that if I have a pain in my right hand, I should use my right hand and help myself to relieve the pain? No. We need another body part, maybe the left hand, to come and massage the right hand so that the pain will be lesser, isn't it? Yeah? We need the support of another body part to come help. Although we are one entity, one body, but when one part of the body is in pain, another part of the body has to come over and help so that, the pain can be relieved from this part of the body. Likewise, as a unit of this human being, this self, in which if we can recognize, each of us within each of us, then when one is in need and in pain, shouldn't the other one give help? Without discriminating. The left hand is not going to say, oh, you are right hand, I'm not going to help you. There's no discrimination. It has to come and, to do this and massage, then this right hand then will be relieved from the pain. Likewise, when we are helping another fellow human being, we shouldn't discriminate and say, I like you or I don't like you. Isn't it? So if we put that into perspective, then we can say that, we are all equal. We all deserve happiness, therefore we should help each other in this pursuit of happiness, isn't it? So His Holiness the Dalai Lama always say that we human beings, we are social animals, and our happiness is depending on one another. In order to be happy, we have to depend on one another, and I totally agree with that. Some might think that some might argue and say that I enjoy being alone because, I like to be alone and being alone makes me happy. Therefore, I don't need other people to give me this happiness. But if you think about it, being alone, it is still depending on whether if others are going to disturb you. If they leave you alone, then you will be alone and be happy. And if they don't, you're not going to get your happiness by being peaceful and quiet, isn't it? So it is still very much depending on another person, right? So having said all that, I just, wish that everybody is on the path and that, we should all strive to, have this, this non-judgmental view towards all sentient beings and extending out the same kindness to everyone, without having much judgment, and of course with all that I have said before as well. And that way we can change our thought process. By changing our thought process, we inhibit this habit, which is a good habit, and then after which we will naturally carry out all these deeds very selflessly. So after having said all that, I have come to the end of my sharing, and I would like to wish everyone and the best in all of your practice, and that I hope that along the path of practicing this selfless compassion, that we will all be bared with a right view, a right thought, hence a right action, and then ultimately being successful in cultivating this genuine compassion. Okay? Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.